Was the longest standing senator in the history of the United States of America. And there are pictures and photos of him protesting for civil rights back in the 60s. This guy is an OG.
Working class senator.
Look, the working people of this country are extremely angry.
You can disagree with them or think that he's wrong in what his opinions are, but I think it's respectable to see somebody who stood by their opinions and actually has lost things in the pursuit of keeping those opinions, even if you disagree with them. I think it's very respectable.
A right to be angry. In the richest country in the history of the world, today the people on top are doing phenomenally well, while 60% of Americans are living.
This is actually a really big component that a lot of people don't realize whenever they look at the way that wealth has been re-added into the economy, is that almost all of the wealth growth that's happened, well, this really has happened ever since 2008. And like he's talked about this a million times, right? That's actually one of the big reasons why I know about it. Almost all of those gains in wealth are happening at like the 1% level. Like the average people, it's not like, it's like, it's not like a rising tide floats all boats. No, the average people are in a fucking desert.
Paycheck to paycheck. And millions of families worry that their kids are paycheck really well, while 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
That is crazy.
And millions of families worry that their kids are actually going to have a lower standard of living than they do. You
think about like the financial anxiety living paycheck to paycheck is. Every time that you turn on your car and it doesn't immediately start up, fuck. Every time like maybe your phone doesn't turn on, you're like, fuck. Every time you've got, like anything happens, like immediately, the financial anxiety that it creates is just absolutely fucking suffocating. You know what it's like? Oh my God. It's like playing, so if somebody else is playing Sonic the Hedgehog and you're playing QWOP. That's what being really fucking poor and not having, like, going to paycheck, that's what it's fucking like. And, like, to be fair, I was never, like, extremely fucking poor, right? There was a point where we were broke. We didn't have that much money. But, like, a lot of people have it way worse than I ever did. And so, yeah, it's like playing fucking QWOP. And the other people are playing Sonic the Hedgehog. That's what happens if, your dad's the president.
The top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 90%.
Jesus.
We're the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all of our people.
Yep.
25% of our seniors are trying to...
Here's one of the really big problems with health care is, like, you guys know this if you've ever been, like, pretty much broke, is that health care costs and health care anxiety exists for the middle class more than either of the extremes. Because if you're absolutely fucking broke, you can just go to the emergency room whenever you want, and they're never going to be able to get the money out of you, right? And there's like a bunch of government assistance programs. Like my mom had them, and so I saw them in practice and in work. And so, like, for example, we had MAP, Medical Assistance Program. Wrong? No, it's not wrong. Like, I literally have personal experience with this. I know what it is. I even had it myself. And so, it's just simply not true. So, yeah. Basically, what ends up happening is that the people that are inside of like that middle area where they don't have enough money to be comfortable enough to be able to afford health care, but they don't have too little money to be uncomfortable enough to get the government assistance, those people in like that middle ground, that purgatory, they are the ones that are getting absolutely fucked. And I've seen it happen.
Live on $15,000 a year or less. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. And the gap between the people on top and everybody else is getting wider and wider.
He's right.
And then, Kristen, on top of all of that, we got a corrupt campaign finance system which allows billionaires to buy elections. So
wasn't this the thing that people are telling me this wasn't happening earlier today? Oh, that's not happening. Of course it's happening. What do you mean it's not happening? What do you mean? That this is the biggest problem? Yes. It's terrible. And here's also another big issue. It's the non-money transactions. Like, your son is going to get hired at my company. Or we're going to hire you after you end your term at this company for a large amount of money, right? It's all of these like little soft, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, quid pro quo type stuff. That's the bad stuff right there. And that's where it gets really corrosive. Very rarely is there just like a massive bag of money that is exchanged. Sometimes, of course, there is, but not always.
An average worker out there, you're saying, hey, I'm working longer and longer hours, going nowhere in a hurry, worried about my kids, and yet the people on top have never had it so good. Where is the
main thing that he said that mattered the most is the going nowhere in a hurry. That's why people are really fucking mad. It's because you used to be able to work for something and be able to like think that there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and somebody turned the light out, so people don't want to be in the tunnel anymore. Pretty simple.
Are they prepared to stand up to this powerful corporate interest, raise the minimum wage, fight for health care for all people, make sure that all of our kids get the quality education that they need, expand Social Security? Are they prepared to do those things?
By the way, I agree with him about everything here. Completely agree with him.
That's the issue that we have to address.
Well, as you know, your statement was met with some sharp reaction as well. This is what Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi had to say. Take a look. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Nancy, I know Bernie probably can't say this, but that corrupt ass witch sitting here betting on companies the day before, putting massive stock in companies. How much money has she made in the fucking stock market? How's she worth over $100 million? I thought being a senator only pays you like $200K a year or $300K a year. How does that happen? $200 million. Wow. So I bet she's going to get mad at Bernie Sanders. I bet she is. She's going, oh, wow, it's so divisive. You shouldn't be saying that. Yeah, because your money's at risk.
Bernie Sanders has not won. Let me, with all due respect, and I have a great deal of respect for him, for what he stands for, but I don't respect him saying that the Democratic Party has abandoned the working class families.
Senator, how do you
Bro, if Bernie was like, she just worried about losing her fucking money. You know that they're exempt from insider trading? And you want to know like one absolute fucking G about this? Tim Walz. Tim Walz does not have any fucking stocks. I massively fucking respect that. I do. Absolutely. That's crazy. Yes. Absolutely. You might disagree with Tim Walz about a million other things. And let's say you're right about all of those things. But with this other one thing, that's respectable.
On to Nancy Pelosi.
Well, Nancy is a friend of mine, and we've worked together on many issues. But here is the reality. I have to say to Nancy, in the Senate in the last 2 years, we have not even brought forth legislation to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, despite the fact that some 20 million people in this country are working for less than $15 an hour. In America today, we have not brought, in the Senate, we have not brought to the floor the PRO Act to make it easier for workers to join unions. We're not talking about defined benefit pension plans so that our elderly...
In my opinion, I think unions are a stopgap. I think unions are pseudo-government, and in a perfect world, you wouldn't need unions because the government would advocate for you in place of the unions. It's my opinion. I understand unions are a necessary evil in a lot of cases, and I don't even want to say that they're evil. But that's my personal opinion.
Retire with security.
And some unions can be bad, some can be good.
Lifting the cap on Social Security.
I'm more pro than against.
So that we can extend the solvency of Social Security and raise benefits. Bottom line, if you're an average working person out there, do you really think that the Democratic Party is going to the mats, taking on powerful special interest and fighting for you? I think
that's a good question. That's a very, very good question. Yeah, are they? Do you actually think they're doing this? Absolutely not. Everybody knows they're not.
Overwhelming answer is no, and that is what's got to change.
Senator, let me zoom out and just ask you about these results. You've heard some of the reaction throughout the Democratic Party. How much do you personally blame President Biden for this loss?
President Biden, when he came into office, said that he would be the most progressive president since FDR. And I think on domestic issues, not foreign policy, on domestic issues, he has kept his word and the agenda.
I mean, student loan forgiveness, Biden did do a lot of good things. Sure, I think that's fair.
The agenda that he has pushed through has been an extraordinarily strong one. But that agenda has got to be placed within the overall context of American society today. And that American society today is one in which tens of millions of working families and elderly people are struggling, while the people on top have never had it so good.
But Senator, should he have gotten...
That's the thing, is people are making more and more money ever. Biden was the worst president of all time, in my opinion. No, I understand that, like, the CHIP Act and Infrastructure Act were good legislations. Yeah, I mean, like, he did pass some good things, and they happened. You don't win any points by refusing to acknowledge reality. Yeah, like, that's true. There were some good decisions that were made. Like, it's not crazy to say that.
Gotten out of the race more quickly, as some are arguing.
I supported him because I think his agenda was a strong agenda, a working class agenda. I'm not going to...
Well, Bernie supported them because he knew it probably wasn't even going to be Biden to begin with, right? Because that's what a lot of people are saying. They're like, oh, it wasn't even him doing this stuff. It's like, yeah, you're probably right. He had some great policies. He was just not good at talking to people and presenting the message. I think that media played a really negative role in his campaign too, in like a weird way, because it felt like the media like definitely like puffed him up in a lot of ways, but it also misrepresented other things too. And I think that at the end of the day, the media just kind of did whatever the media thought would get the media the most attention. That's basically what happened.
Backwards. Kamala ran a strong campaign. She did everything that she could. She decisively won the debate. So to me, it's not just about the campaign. It's about what does the Democratic Party stand for.
Exactly.
Do ordinary people say, yeah, that is a party that is fighting for my interest and prepared to take on the big money interest who control the economic and political life of the country?
Yeah, it doesn't sound good when you have these these celebrities that are up supporting Kamala Harris or making videos in their mansions that, you know, like there's photos coming out of them with Diddy and stuff like this, like Usher, stuff like this. It's so off-putting, right? Because it's all these people in their ivory towers that are coming down to tell you like, oh, we need to vote to be all of us be together. It's just so fucking bullshit. The Avengers, yeah, exactly. She got the Diddy list supporting her. True, but unironically. Yeah.
That's to me what the issue is.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about the economics. You've talked about how the Democratic Party is out of touch when it comes to economic issues. Some Democrats are saying it's not just economic issues, it's cultural issues as well. Here's what Democratic strategist James Carville had to say. Take a look.
What killed the Democrats and what killed Biden was a sense of disorder. And part of the sense of disorder was the unfortunate events of what I would refer to as the woke era.
Has the...
Yeah.
The Democratic Party's focus on identity politics gone too far, Senator?
I think it has. I think everybody knows that.
Let me answer it this way.
He doesn't want to get into it. He doesn't give a fuck about it. I don't think Bernie Sanders has ever given a fuck about identity politics at all. He's always cared about economic policy. That's been his focus the entire time. He's just not the guy to talk about this.
Thank you. If the Democratic Party must continue to stand up against all forms of bigotry, and Democrats should hold their head high in saying, we led the fight for women's rights and to protect the woman's constitutional right for abortion. We led the fight for civil rights, for gay rights. That is something we should be proud of. But it's not either or, Chris, and this is the problem. You can do both. You could say that I'm for raising the minimum wage to a living wage, guarantee health care for all people, expanding Social Security. And by the way, I also support a woman's right to control her own body, etc. Yeah. It's not either or. It's going forward in both directions.
You know, I've been speaking to some Democrats who are concerned.
Yeah, he just doesn't, like, honestly, I think Bernie literally just doesn't give a fuck about this. Like, I'm sure he has opinions on it and he cares a little bit, but I think he realizes that if you really look at where are the problems in the country, transsexuals are not at the top of that list. Even though, like, for a lot of average people it is, because they see it and it's something that they can understand, you know, from his perspective, that's not it. And I mean, I mean, who can't respect that, right? Sure.
Because now President-elect Trump has beaten 2 women candidates, and their concern is that it will make it more difficult to nominate a woman candidate in the future. Do you share that concern, Senator?
No, it's stupid.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's not a question. Look, I'm not going to deny that there is sexism in this country,
Sure.
that there's racism, there's homophobia. It's there. But on the other hand, I think what the American people want to support, whether it's a woman, a man, a black or a white, or Latino, whatever, is they want to support somebody who is standing up, Kristen, and fighting for them. People are in pain. People are hurting. They can't afford to go to a doctor. They can't afford to send their kids to child care.
Can you imagine how crazy he must feel where, like, you're living in the highest point in, like, U.S. history of wealth inequality, and people can't stop about who gets to use what bathroom? Like, can you imagine how absolutely fucking insane you must feel? It's so cooked. Yeah, it is. Like, it is.
Or to college. They're worried about future generations and what kind of standard of living they will have. Here is the bottom line, and it has to be dealt with. You got an economy today doing phenomenally well for the people.
I also want to say, too, like, you don't see Bernie Sanders going out and making like a million statements on this identity politics stuff and trying to, like, make people think he's a good guy. Because if you want to find out, like, where Bernie Sanders stands on this, you can look at black and white photos of him being arrested protesting civil rights. Like, he doesn't need to virtue signal. Yeah, that doesn't even need to do that. I think that's, again, like, that's kind of like what I was saying before about how, like, a lot of the people that feel like they need to virtue signal and, like, put themselves out there and be like, oh yeah, I'm like this special good person. A lot of them are doing it because they've never actually done that. You know, they've led lives of just absolute, you know, fucking uncontrolled privilege. And they've never stood for anything. They never had any sort of, like, they've never lost anything for what they believed in, right? And so I think it's also very telling that, like, one of the only people that's, like, still around, to be fair, you know, in Congress that was, like, still, like, very much, like, involved in civil rights is not even bringing that up. You think about it, right? It's not even bringing this up. It's not even part of it.
On top, it is not working for the working class. All right? How do we address those issues and in the richest country on the history of the world, create an economy that works for all? That is the issue. And by the way, what Trump did in his election is to say, I know that you're hurting. And the reason is they got millions of people coming across the border illegal. They're eating your dogs. They're eating your cats. He gave an explanation. It happened to be a pretty crazy explanation. Yes, we got to strengthen the borders. Yeah. But that is not going to raise wages for working people or provide health care to all people. No. The Democrats need an explanation. And that explanation is corporate greed and the power of the billionaire class. I know that's uncomfortable for people in the
for NBC News. Yeah, it's very uncomfortable for them. Yeah.
Democratic Party, some people. But that is the issue we have to address.
Senator, quickly before I let you go, I do want to ask you about the Supreme Court. Some Democrats behind the scenes quietly talking about the possibility, should Justice Sotomayor step down, to allow President Biden to appoint someone who's younger. She's only 70 years old. Is that something that you would support? Do you think she should step down?
It's her decision.
No, I don't.
Have you heard any talk?
No. That's it. Only 70? Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think there's a high I mean, Bernie's 84 years old, right? This guy's a dinosaur.
This?
A little bit, yes. I don't think it's a sensible approach.
And you don't think it's a sensible approach?
Correct.
All right. Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you very much for your time this morning and your perspective. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Damn, bro, like his hairline is worse than mine. That's crazy. Yeah, asking an 85-year-old on whether a 70-year-old should retire. Yeah, it's like kind of like, well, what are you trying to say, you know? But anyway, yeah, I mean, I pretty much support everything that he was saying, and the funny thing is that I think that if you asked average people, like, there's a lot of like baggage that comes with words like socialism, communism, and like people have these words that are attached to like Bernie Sanders and all that. But I think that if you took the name off of these promises, or not promises, off of these policies, and you just gave them to people as like line items, I think that he would have pretty much 100% approval with a lot of these. I do. I think it would be well above 60% people approving of this. And I think that that's the reason why he did so well. That's why they, in my opinion, I think they had to rig it against them, right? Especially in 2016. And so, yeah, they stole it from Bernie. I know. Do you agree with this? The Democrats are just as much beholden to corporate interests just as the Republicans. They don't want an economic plan that'll benefit average people, but at least Republicans lie to their base to win. I think that both companies, both parties exist to serve the 1%. I really think that's true. I don't think that like the Democrat Party exists to serve the working class. I don't think the Republican Party exists to serve the working class. I think that they occasionally throw them a bone, but for the most part, they exist to maintain the status quo and to effectively keep the wheel turning, right? And so that's my opinion. And I'm I'm kind of a bit of a conspiracy Andy with this kind of stuff, but that's what I believe. It's terrible. Yeah, I think so, too. And most politicians are lawyers and they take on people's side for money for a profession. Dumb take. The Republican Party is brand new. Okay. Yeah. Let's just move on. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't even know really what to say about that. Let me see. I'll watch like maybe one more. Then I want to move on and do some other shit. And it's really called the Grand Old Party. Well, if I remember correctly, the Republican Party was started by, what do you call it? It was started by Abraham Lincoln, right? I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was started by Lincoln. And so what are we really talking about here? What is this? To free the slaves? Yeah, I'm not sure if it was to free the slaves, but yeah, of course that's what's going to happen.
Do you feel annoyed? Do you feel peeved? Well, if you do, I have the perfect solution.
Oh my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many thank yous. Not 20. There must be 35.
Traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream.
That's not really politics. It's not.
How many people
like that?
Can we tell how many, Dan? How many people are watching?
She's talking about how great
That's
San
just funny.
Francisco was before she destroyed it. A lot of talk about childhood. We've got to get to the border, inflation, and crime.
He's not proposing a single policy, not one policy proposal. Ours' biography won't lower your prices at the grocery store or at the pub.
Out there putting veterans out on the streets. So
33,000 homeless veterans. Gotcha. Okay, say these out. The things of which she complains. The things of which she complains.
In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man.
Oh. You hear that, Phil? It's great, right?
Bro, this guy's got the fuck my shit up haircut. Hold on.
You hear that, Phil?
Holy shit.
It's great, right? Ready? These prosecutions were all started by her and Biden against their political opponent. Me. Get that out right away.
Have of caravans heading to the border, people showing up to the border with Biden-Harris t-shirts. Everything we have of people swarming the border.
She paid bail for rioters in the Minnesota Freedom Fund.
She paid and raised bail. She paid bail to get the violent rioters in Minnesota out of jail.
2 months, let Minnesota burn. Kamala Harris burned out the ones who lit the matches.
Put it in there. Put it right in with the stuff, huh?
With that post, yeah.
Yeah.
But
you could do it either that or separate.
say more lies, lying about the Project 2025.
Oh, lying against Project 25, which she knows, and so do all Democrats, that I have absolute.
Bro, what the fuck is all this? Not coach any crime. Jenny people killing art. She complains. Millions patriotically. The fuck is that?
Absolutely nothing to do with.
She says we all know what a second term will look like. We can say yes. No inflation, secure borders, the best economy in the history of the world, and peace.
She said chart a new way forward. She's turning a new way.
Chart a new way forward.
She's done nothing but harm.
I think we have a graphic about black earnings being down 6%. If we haven't already hit that, let's hit that one.
She's talking about the middle class. But she's the one that broke the middle class and made it unsafe.
She wants to give free Social Security and Medicare to illegals, bankrupting the system. Kamala Harris's laws are extremists on abortion and abortion up to the moment of and after birth.
What would you say to a woman in Mississippi who's having to carry a child to term that has died in the fetus or has a serious fetal abnormality? That's how it'll come at you in the
There's something I find so funny about when people talk to the thing like that. I think it's so
someone
funny.
in a red state enduring that.
We have the exceptions.
I used to talk to the people, chat, shout out the sponsor, and I had to talk to them, and I would go, shut up, bitch, moron, bitch ass motherfucker. Jerry said my balls. Do you remember that? Holy shit, classic.
Republicans, liberals and conservatives wanted Roe v. Wade terminated and brought back to the states. 4 stories that she is making up that I've never even heard of.
I heard her say contraception, and I heard her say birth control.
Do not limit access to birth control or IVF. That is a lie.
Well, we trust women.
I trust women also. And I will keep women safe.
Of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
She won't, because the millions pouring into the invasion of our country at our open border are destroying the lives of women and the families of African Americans and Hispanics.
That bill that legalizes illegal.
Holy shit. This guy's got his shit ready to go off the rip.
Close the border. She just called.
This guy's got a dialogue tree almost. Every single thing that they could say, he's got an answer ready. False, not false, because he's got the answer for it.
To give all illegal.
They got the questions, he's got the answers. Holy shit.
To the USA.
Trump, on the other hand, threatened to abandon NATO.
NATO wasn't paying their bills. I saved NATO. She hates Israel. You got it, Dan?
How many troops have you put out there?
About 40. She's complaining.
Has she said anything on China?
Has she mentioned fracking?
Kamala Harris is a threat to democracy.
It will take us into World War III and nuclear war.
It will take us into a nuclear World War III. So.
Thank you. God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
Oh, wow. She didn't mention China. She didn't mention fracking. She didn't mention energy. She didn't mention Russia and Ukraine, right?
50 to 60 billion people in poverty in the United States right now. Under their watch, they put these people in poverty. They're doing nothing about it, not even talking about it. But some of these people can't even eat.
There's 60 million people in poverty in the United States right now.
Under their watch.
And she doesn't even talk
by fracking
about that.
It's because I think, so this is what I think happened. I could be wrong though. I thought that the Dems were going to go against fracking, whatever, right? Because they wanted to do the right thing or something, because I think it's bad for the environment. And then I think they started losing supports because people were going to lose jobs in that area, whatever. And then Reds were like, oh, we're not going to ban fracking, whatever. And then they were like, we're not going to ban fracking either. So then everybody's like, I think they should just flop. Yeah, I don't know.
President, after he and Martha start talking, call in after like a minute,
that's the gist of it,
or two after Brett and Martha start going.
I want to use a hard line. Much better. Hard line is so much better.
Phone's on quiet. Make sure phone's on quiet.
Turn your phones
Sir,
off.
they're ready for you.
That's not really following what voters want, because it's not like you're being neutral about it initially. Is that you're going against it, right? Initially, right? And you're acting like they don't have the data that they want off the rip. They probably did have the data off the rip, and then they went against it. I think that's where there's a difference between going against the voter base or not.
1 minute.
Joining us now by phone, the 45th President of the United States, former President Donald Trump. Mr. President, thank you for joining us. You were truth socialing along this speech. What is your first reaction to it real time tonight?
Well, the biggest reaction is, why didn't she do the things that she's complaining about? All of these things that she talked about, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do everything. But she didn't do any of it. She could have done it 3.5 years ago. She could do it tonight by leaving the auditorium and going to Washington, D.C. and closing the border. She doesn't need a bill. I didn't have a bill. I closed the border. There was a lot of complaining. She's raising taxes. She's going to give a tax increase. She didn't talk about any of that. What they're going to do is pick up and move to another country, like the pharmaceutical industry or the immigration. It's very simple. The bill was horrible. We're doing very well in the polls. We're leading in most of the polls. In the swing states, we're leading in almost every one of them. As far as RFK, I've had a great relationship with him over the years. Look, he was treated very unfairly by the Democrats. In the end, the Democrats did the same thing to Joe Biden. They threw Joe Biden out of the party.
And that's why we saw a different night tonight.
Mr. President, thank you so much for the time.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think I just nullified the whole fucking speech. I think I just nullified.
Good job.
Okay, here we have, that must be, who is it? Oh, Greg. How are you, Greg? Oh, boy, I just did one. I just did one on Fox. Did you see it? I don't know if I can handle another one, man. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. Look, you're my friend. You're great, but it's Greg Kelly. Say it again, Greg. Jason Miller is here. He wanted me to stay on the border.
I don't think we should be doing it. It's very dangerous. They want me to do an interview We have three very...
They're saying it's very dangerous out there. They were just telling me you shouldn't be standing up there. Should I be doing an interview here?
These eyebrows are so bushy.
Safe where they have position.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking these guys. He didn't care how safe it was. He wanted me to finish up 3 interviews. I said, Jason, I've been told by Secret Service this is very dangerous. Wasn't that good?
If those are the points you level in the debate, it will be very, very effective.
Yes.
Well, that's what I thought. That's the way I am. That's the way I thought. But, you know, debates are tricky. You might not be in the right mood. We have fake anchors on ABC. Among the worst, you have George Slobodopoulos, sort of controls it over there. Get him on the hard line, right? Okay. You know, your voice is much better on a hard line. I didn't realize it. I did Sean Hannity 2 months ago on a hard line. It was like, I always hated my voice when I do this one. I'm ready. Thank you, Antonio. I just watched it. Very non-specific. Everybody knows all of my policies. Thank you both very much. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you. Great job. I was at the border at 7 in the morning. He wanted me taken out. Sir, one more interview. Sir, you can't see it very well. I mean, essentially, it's debate prep, what we're doing, right? Wouldn't you say?
That was good. That was good.
Go home, everybody.
Okay.
Listen.
Damn. Art of the Surgeon. You have to look at him on Twitter directly. The fuck? Well, they got like 3 hours of this shit on this. The fuck?
You need somebody who could just break through all the bullshit.
For sure.
Like that doesn't exist.
Right? That would be the game changer.
It's obviously a
camera is.
We did not.
A tough guy and a brave guy.
I like the behind the scenes footage type stuff. That's kind of fun to watch. But the more like stuff like that is, to me, is kind of whatever. That stuff is kind of to me is not as interesting because it's very much mostly typical shot you're gonna see or like barely like. That's not what I'm looking for when I'm looking at these videos.
There what?
That one was good.
We stand.
Congress. Blessful thing to have come down.
No, there's no con. We have everything
Across is absolutely a blessful thing to have come down here to Cochise County.
Thank you so much for coming to our county. We're going to just crank it out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, I should say, and more importantly, Truth Social. Big day today. We have everything. We'll tie everything together. We'll stream everything live all over the place via Rumble, via Truth Social. All over the place, you'll see it. We'll get the message out one way or another. We've got TikTok going on over there as well. Today's a really big day, and you're going to see a big difference in relation to what this man can do, as opposed to the border czar who hasn't been here once.
Rumble's troll, but when it comes to politics, they pull some fucking numbers on that shit on Politics Day. But I think that some of his shit, their shit's botted like crazy though. It's inflated out the wazoo.
Good. Big day.
I love it. I will, but just let me give it to my guy. Give that to me.
Thank you, and Frank. President, thank you for everything.
Live streaming hasn't really ever taken
Kick
off.
is a lot better now.
If we're set up correctly, we should expose it to people that haven't seen it, especially on TikTok, Instagram, all the rest. That's where eyeballs are. If we can get a younger subset of individuals to watch it, I think everyone wins. They got to see the truth that President Trump gets to display in a way that's...
When you don't have a product that you're proud of and you don't have an actual thing that you want to go forward with it, that's genuine, okay? You don't give a fuck when you're being botted. That's what I mean about this shit. Like Rumble doesn't give a fuck if it's being botted. Their shit's been botted. Are they doing a lot to counter the bots? Not really. Have I seen it? Have people showed me? Not really. their shit is out the wazoo. Out of all platforms, out of all social media, all of them, their numbers, they had like 5 people or 6 in the top 10 like viewers watched. How unlikely is that with actual real numbers? Extremely unlikely. Like
formatted for this generation. So I think it's important that we do it, and especially something like this on the border. There's so much insight that I think needs to happen, and we just haven't seen it.
Oh, these suckers are heavy, huh? No wonder they're so strong.
Yeah, but that's bound to happen though. He's old and he's got the side all cooked.
When the Biden administration took over, construction stopped. Steel border wall bollards are left in stacks.
I just think it's foolish to leave this project just as it is.
Construction equipment is still on site. Deep trenches are dug out. The sheriff might describe this little section of Trump wall as overkill.
How do you like that? The DNC convention helped Trump. Pretty good, huh? He went up 2 points of independence, 11 overall. Of course, you know, there's always the hidden Trump voters, so he's probably up a lot.
Strong numbers. Strong numbers.
Nice news from the legal front. U.S. Supreme Court just said that they're going to accept our appeal from Arizona on the only American citizens can vote case. So, more details.
Harris came in. That's when they stopped, and that's how they get in. They can't come in here. This was all done to the specifications of the Border Patrol and ICE and everybody else. It's an anti-climb panel on top. It makes it very hard to climb. I was never in love with it architecturally until I saw the fact that nobody could climb over it. Without it, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. So the anti-climb panel on top was a big deal. So there's your wall, and it ended right there. And it was a simple completion from one side to the next. They left it open, and massive numbers of drugs are pouring because the walls work. And if they win, there's no border. We'll have 100 million people come in from the rest of the world, not just South America. They're coming from 100.
You guys saying ladder, sure.
Different countries.
It's made to deter. It's like deterrence.
168 countries.
Because to walk over there with a ladder is a lot more challenging than walking there with just on foot.
How do you bet 168?
It's just low the numbers.
Countries you've never even heard of. Countries even the fake news has never heard of. I mean, can you believe it? We built hundreds of miles of wall. All they had to do was put it up. They could have had it completed in 3 weeks, but they said, let's have open borders. All I can say is we're going to stop it in the future for other people. Put it on. Put it on. Right under our flag. We're going to bring our country back. We're going to be proud of it again. We're not going to be burning our flags. See the flags all burning in Chicago. They're burning flags all over the place. We're going to be proud of it again. Very sad time for this country in many ways. Jocelyn was a 12-year-old girl from Houston whose life was stolen by 2 criminal illegals.
June 17th was the day her life was taken. So now I have to go through the rest of my life with my son, always asking for his sister. I just really, really, really want everybody to please take into consideration how important border control is, because we're losing very innocent people to heinous crimes that shouldn't be happening in the first place. And please help him make a change. Thank you.
Don't
don't
womp
feel like
womp,
I
you're getting
belong
banned.
on the stage with the folks here, since I seem to have gotten off kind of easy with just a fractured skull. I didn't lose loved ones, but it was a nice neighborhood. You wouldn't expect broad daylight for something violent to happen to you. They were laughing as they fractured my skull. It was kind of a wake-up moment for me, and I moved out of San Francisco because I didn't feel safe there. And I don't think our country is going to be safe under Trump. It's amazing to meet him in person, and the powerful stories, hearing those today, and seeing the border wall, and knowing what's going on down here and in this country. I really, really hope he gets reelected, because I fear for our future if that doesn't happen.
There is an intense manhunt underway right now for a man who they believe has made threats against the former president. Now, it comes a little over a month since the assassination attempt on Trump's life.
It's okay, dear. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Thanks, fellas.
Damn, he got fucking left hanging with this one, huh?
You have an interview with Fox over there. Oh, I don't think we should be doing it. It's very dangerous. If they want me to do an interview,
I got it.
You have three very
Oh my God.
dangerous. They would just tell me you shouldn't be standing
GG.
here.
This is gonna bleed like crazy. Oh my God.
It's safe where they have the position. I'm not asking you. I'm asking these guys. It's safe in here. Is it okay? Yeah.
Despite the danger, Donald Trump went ahead with his event and commented on the manhunt, saying this.
So I think we should talk to them.
Okay, can I just really quickly ask you
Yes,
questions?
Dude, I pulled the roots of the fucking nail. Look, watch this. Oh, I wish you were able to see it. There's the nail and then the nail bed. You see it? That's literally the nail and the little part right there.
Can you, without extra chance for a few
That's
spins,
the fucking bed.
seems inverted.
Currently underway in Cochise County, where we
Look,
are standing.
look. It's all gone. See that?
And it's for a man who the sheriff's department says was threatening him.
I have to do my job. It's a job. It's a dangerous job, but I have to do my job. This is so sad, but this border is so dangerous. It's so bad and so horrible to people. They're losing children, wives and husbands, and it's just a horrible thing. And we can stop it.
Can I tell you something? Sure. We're in danger standing here talking. So let's not talk any longer. No, I know about it, but they don't want me standing here. They don't want you standing here either. Have a good time.
Give me 1 minute. What's here, Joe? All right,
Great day. It's very sad what happened with the families, but overall,
What's going to be here? Vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to.
I like the behind the scene footage shit there. Is there more?
As you can see, we're being
Are
Fake oh.
Not really.
Shocked. This guy is alive.
Getting shot could be bad.
Yeah. It's really heavy. That's a 30 by 60 flag. So it's probably a couple 100 pounds. It's a little rough. So a couple more people came to their rescue. We got her flipped over and we got it.
Okay. Chat, guys, I need to get a, oh my God, Moz, help me out, please.
Your future is at your fingertips.